Hello, welcome to part 4. So, if you've just found me from searching, please go back and watch parts 1, 2 and 3. This is... I feel really bad that I'm taking so long, but hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Hopefully. And there is just so much to do with this phone. So, I mean, I could have done a shorter video, but I would have had to miss out loads of stuff. Right, we're moving on to DeX. DeX is very new to me. It first came out with the S8, the S8 Plus. So that's a year and a half ago, and I've not had. My last Samsung was kind of an S7, I suppose, S7 Plus. What it does is pretty much any USB Type-C cable that goes to an HDMI can be plugged into the device, and it will trigger DeX. I've done a separate video on DeX, so it might be easiest. I'm going to try and remember to put it just up here. It's probably easy to go and watch that because that in itself was about a 15-minute video. But basically, it makes your phone into like a computer. So on your TV or your monitor, whatever the HDMI is plugged into, you get a desktop. It's not just a mirroring of your phone screen. It is an actual desktop with icons and navigation bars and things. And you basically operate your phone, with the phone itself being the trackpad and the keyboard. When it's needed, it pops the keyboard up at the bottom to operate what you're seeing on your TV or your monitor. And it works really well. Some of the apps, probably mainly the Samsung ones to be fair, are optimized and configured to make the most of DeX, so you can look at your photos and videos full screen. And that made me realize how amazing the camera is actually on this phone when I was watching it on my amazing TV. The sort of HDR, the color, the sharpness, the vibrance, it just looked amazing. And I can imagine, so you can get I've seen like some dongles, you plug it in and it's got a HDMI output I suppose, HDMI plug, a couple of USBs, another USB Type-C. Like when I say a couple of USBs, I mean the regular, that you can plug a mouse and a keyboard into. The USB Type-C is for power, so you can make sure, it doesn't charge your phone, but it basically powers the keyboard, the mouse and other things. So effectively, you'd kind of have a computer just in this little thing, and it goes everywhere with you. And as long as it depends what you want to take with you. You don't need to take the mouse and the keyboard with you because that can be done on the phone. But yeah, you just take that everywhere with you. It really is. It's almost, I wouldn't say mind-blowing perhaps, but I'm really impressed with it. Really impressed, to the point that I want to keep buying different dongles so I can have them kind of dotted everywhere. And wherever I go, I can just whip it out and off I go. So let's see. Is there anything I've not kind of covered? No, so I think most of it I've covered. Bearing in mind, you can use your S Pen as like a blipper. So if you want to show, if you're doing a slideshow or even just showing your family your photos, you set up DeX and then you use your S Pen. You sit there on your couch going, and then in the next picture is me wrestling a tiger, blip, blip, and here I am relaxing by the pool, whatever. I just think it's really cool. It is really cool. Like I said, go and watch the video that I did on DeX if I've released that now. I'm making so many videos these last few days. I've got loads of them queued up. If it's not out yet, it will be out within the week at least. So yeah, that's DeX. It just is really a really clever initiative by Samsung, I suppose. One of these extra things that they do that just adds to your experience, or gives you the options at least, I suppose. They move on to Bixby. So Bixby, there he is, Bixby button, that's him. If the camera focuses, that's Bixby in a button. So let's see. Will it rain tomorrow? So there is your perfect example.
It doesn't look like there will be rain in the forecast Monday.
I mean, if it or she figured it out, but the actual voice recognition was slow and inaccurate. How far away is Glasgow?
Okay, here's what I found online.
So to me, that's quite a simple question. Okay, Google, how far away is Glasgow?
You are 394 miles away from Glasgow by car.
To me, that's not a complicated question. Oh, let's not do that, trying to. So, I wanted to really like it. I saw a few videos where people say, Bixby's got a lot better, give it a chance. So I thought, okay, I will, I'll give it a chance. and it's just not very good. It's not very accurate, it's not very quick, and it's just not very useful. One of the things that I thought would be useful is for dictation. So when I'm in here and I say, who is the President of the United States? I wasn't very clear when I said states, to be fair.
The White House in Washington, D.C.
But if you're in America, I think, it uses the Bixby button as a dictation tool. You don't have to press the microphone, or you don't have to press the microphone down on the keyboard. It literally just, that keyboard changes to Bixby and you just talk and the text appears. That actually sounded quite useful. Just on a button that you can just go and off you go. In the UK, it doesn't seem to work. If anyone knows why, please let me know. Anyone knows how you can change it, because I would actually quite like that. Having said that, Bixby not being that accurate, it might be just a pain in the backside. The one thing it is reasonable for, and in fact I think I've left my screen on time left at 10 minutes from when I was doing the battery test, so change screen timeout to 1 minute.
Screen timeout is set to 1 minute.
Turn Wi-Fi off. Oh. Okay, although he has brought up, in fact he's actually done it. So the one thing that I find it useful for is changing settings, because the settings, they're a little bit complicated. They're not what I'm used to. So actually, if you can just tell your phone to do something, that's not a bad option. But generally, Bixby, not so much. I was going to do a separate video because I was hoping I was going to find it really useful, and I thought, yeah, I can do a video as well showing how I use it. I don't think I'll bother because it generally isn't very useful. Anyway, on to Hackability. There's not a great deal on the XDA forum. There's like a couple of recoveries. That's about it. But to be fair, Samsung themselves provide you with Odin. You can download Odin, which goes way back to some of the first Samsungs I've ever used, I think, which allows you to flash ROMs and things onto Samsung devices. Then firmwares are generally available online, so I think it's sammobile.com. You go and you put in what your device is, and it lists pretty much all the different ROMs from the different countries, and you've got to find obviously your country and your provider. So if you go and find, for me, United Kingdom EE, it should then show me what the last ROM was, which was at some point in the middle of August, I think. So Hackability is kind of, is in a way it's provided for with Odin, but there's not really much out there at the moment that you would want to do. So we're finally on to the conclusion. To be honest, I would hope after however many minutes of video footage, you probably know everything that I'm going to say at this point, and you've probably made up your own mind anyway. But I know obviously you'll want my actual conclusion. So I think this is the best hardware that you can buy right now. It's got a fantastic screen, it's got a fantastic camera, it's got fantastic speakers, it's got fantastic battery life. Now that that's doing better for me. And that was the one thing, that was the one knock that I heard about the Note 8, was the battery life was terrible. And Samsung will come out and gone, yeah, it's 4,000 milliamp hours, 500 more than we've ever done before. And I didn't mention, actually, I've just thought I didn't mention the water cooling. There's water cooling in this phone. Water cooling. Apparently the way it works is there's kind of a copper channel that sits over the CPU and then heads off somewhere else on the phone. It literally has got liquid inside it. It's all sealed in though. So when the CPU gets hot, that turns to a vapor and it heads up the copper channel, taking the heat with it. And then when it gets to the further away, as it starts to cool down, it turns back into sort of the liquid and it will come back down the copper channel. I don't know how, if there's valves or what, but that's apparently how it works. That's how they've been able to squeeze everything in, because the problem with the Note 7 that was burst into flames, I think, was just the temperature. Literally, I mean, obviously flames are going to be quite hot, but that's why it was. The battery was all crammed in and it got so hot that off it went. So the water cooling stops us getting to that point, basically. And I think you have to give them credit. You've got to give them credit to cram that much more battery in after having had such a massive PR disaster that was the Note 7 and its battery. I mean, for starters, that just takes some balls, doesn't it? So you've got to give them credit, I think. I like what Samsung do with their extras. So DeX, I love DeX. I've never used it until yesterday. Love it, really like it. I don't think it's Mobeam, but whatever they do to make the barcode work. Bixby, okay, let's maybe draw the line there. And the S Pen, to an extent, it's kind of an extra. Obviously, it's like a hardware extra, but would I actually prefer stock Android? If you were to take away these extras and leave me with a stock Android, I don't think I would. And I think that to me, that's amazing. I don't think I've ever had a phone where I've not said, unless it's actually got stock Android. Oh, can you imagine if this had stock Android on it? I definitely was saying about the XZ2, for example, the last like big flagship that I reviewed. I think that's amazing that I'm happier with this. I wouldn't want stock. If someone came out with stock, I probably wouldn't. Who thought I would be there? Because TouchWiz, it used to be a bit of a joke, quite frankly. And I think a lot of people still avoid Samsung because they think, well, it's got TouchWiz on it. Don't let that put you off. Really don't. I mean, hopefully you've seen through this video that you shouldn't let that put you off. I think the S Pen is actually quite useful. It does take a bit of getting used to. It takes a bit of almost remembering what you can do. So sometimes you've got to, it's not a problem, but something that the S Pen can help you with, and you almost forget, oh, I've got an S Pen. I can do this with the S Pen. I think already I've used it more in the Note 9 than I did in the Note 5, or probably the Note 4 or the Note 3 or any of the others. So yeah, that gets a big thumbs up. I've mentioned DeX already. Brilliant. So the negatives, the obvious one is when will it get Pi? So we're on Android 8.1. Pi is out. My Pixel 2 XL has Pi. I think to an extent we're at that point where Android is so advanced. I think if you imagine it's that whole kind of, what do you call it? Is it a bell curve? I don't know. So you see initially Android would go, whoa, getting so much better. Every sort of update from Android, whoa. But now we're kind of, I think we're doing this, aren't we? We turn on each update. They're just small little changes. And actually, so 8.1 to 9, I'm not as bothered as perhaps I was when it was the Note 4 versus Nexus 6 and those upgrades and back then. Project Treble is Android's or Google's kind of answer to that in some ways. So I don't know how it works, but they make it easier for the manufacturers to update is the bottom line. I think the first Samsung phone that had it was the S9. That's not got Pi still at this point, but we're very early on in Pi's life, aren't we? So we're only a few weeks in at the time of recording this video. So we have to wait and see, really, I suppose. We're not going to know for a few months if that's making any difference. But when will the Note 9 get Pi? I mean, it could be 6 months away. How much does that bother me? A little bit, because I do like to have the latest of everything. Not enough that would make me turn my back at it, I suppose. At least the security patches are up to date. That's a good thing. Any other negatives? The size and weight. So it is a big bulky phone. 201 grams is a lot. You need to bear that in mind. And if you're going to put a case on it as well, it's going to feel quite bulky. So it's important that you do bear that in mind. For me, actually, I've got very used to it very quickly. I'm quite a big guy. I've got quite big hands. It doesn't really bother me too much, but it might bother you, so just bear that one in mind. I forget what phone it was for. Maybe it was the Pixel 2 XL. I did a little upgrade grid at the end, so it would have, I don't know, ping would have appeared there. Like, if you had this phone, you shouldn't bother. If you have this phone, you should upgrade. And I was thinking about doing it for the Note 9, and I thought, so for example, if you've got a Note 8, should you upgrade? I think that's one of the most asked questions I've seen on forums. I've got the Note 8, should I upgrade to the Note 9? Honestly, we can't answer that for you. I can't answer that for you. Is the Note 9 better? Yeah, definitely. I think some of the things are marginal upgrades. The screen, the speaker's probably quite a big upgrade. The battery's quite a big upgrade. The S Pen features, I don't know, similar, if not the same. DeX the same. There's too many factors for me to be able to say, yeah, you definitely want to do this. Hopefully in the last however long the hell this video has been, I've given you enough information that you yourself will be able to decide, yeah, it's worth me spending whatever it might be, £500 to upgrade from my Note 8 to the Note 9. Or whatever device you're on, the S9. The S9 is probably less likely to be worthy of an upgrade. But yeah, I can't decide that for you. You need to decide that. So this has been the most epic review I've ever done. Very long, and I do apologise if you, to be honest, if you wanted a more succinct, shorter, you would just wouldn't have started watching, would you? I don't know. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Please do let me know in the comments if you like this, if you've enjoyed this, if I've not just wasted the last kind of 5 or 6 hours probably today putting this all together, getting my notes together, getting the clips together. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. I've actually enjoyed making it. I really have. I honestly have. please do comment down below. I try and reply to all comments, so please do comment. As I think I said earlier, come visit me in my forum, androidandy.uk. I do try and post kind of news items every now and then on my website. But there is a forum. Come and say hello, give me some feedback, just get chatting, tell me about devices, tell me about gadgets you want me to have a look at, accessories, and we can get chatting there. So thanks for watching. My name's Andy. I'll catch you all again soon.